Hi, friends, and welcome to episode 14 of Let's Elden Ring, an intelligence focused complete playthrough of the game. In Let's Elden Ring, as a reminder, the emphasis is sharing with players a comfortable way to complete the game, uh, with an emphasis on eliminating difficulty for beginning players. So if you've wanted to get into From Software games, maybe you want to get into Elden Ring before the big DLC comes out in June, this is a good playthrough for you to check out, I think. We've just to kind of give you a heads up, in the time between last episode and now, I decided that I would go ahead and try to farm that Clayman's harpoon, and I was successful. Very successful, as you can see. I have 3 of them. Um, they Clayman's harpoon is interesting for a couple reasons. Probably what really sets it apart is, yes, right out of the box it does this intelligence scaling. But unlike a lot of intelligence scaling weapons, you can actually put your own Ash of War on it, and you can even configure it, to be magic or frost. You can change its nature, which a lot of magic weapons are kind of already dialed in, and you can't configure them. You can only upgrade them. So that's a pretty big deal, right? And this will be a nice addition to our portfolio. Now, I'm not really going to play with it much right now. My priority at the moment is still, I think, upgrading the shield, getting a good guard boost for the shield. Who knows if we'll be able to beat mega bosses like Liurnia, but if we do, we'll be using a shield for that. So I need a decent shield for some of these later bosses, and I want to make sure we have that prepared. If you want to farm for this shield yourself, I did it here at the bottom of the Chauffeur River well, remember, in the Mistwood. So I just went down, and there's just a bunch of mobs of these claymen. And a worthwhile thing to point out is only enemies that are wielding the spear can drop the spear. And in some of the later areas with the claymen, like over here, you also have claymen with knives. You have a lot more claymen doing magic and throwing the bolos around. And you have magic and other stuff here, but the proportions tilt heavily towards spear, which means you trying to farm are going to have an overall better chance here. So I just came down here and killed everything, and actually got 3 on my first run through. So I had really good luck. You should be prepared, I think, judging by what people are saying online. You should be prepared to spend around 30 minutes if that's something you want to pursue. Anyway, that's it for us down here. Now, I did make a list of other stuff we should do before we really get after Atlas. And I know we've been talking about Atlas forever. I'm eager to get there, and so are you. So I want to kind of run through these things fairly quickly. We'll just go down the list, all right? So first of all, whatever happened to Thops? We went to the church yesterday. After having given him the key, he was already gone. Presumably he went to the academy, right? So let's go to the academy, so we can find him. And instead of going deeper in, we're going to back out, like towards that elevator water wheel thing, and around the corner, and there he is. And as you can see, he's deceased. We can get his ball bearing. We can get an Academy Glintstone staff. We can get a Thops barrier. Academy Glintstone staff would be a good choice if we weren't going all the way to 80 with our intelligence. But we are. We're pretty much a pure intelligence build, so I say this every episode, but I'm just waiting for the Regal Scepter. You might like the Lusat staff instead. That's fine. Uh, go to. Don't use my word as gospel. Go to the wiki, read about the different staves, see what sounds, like something you'd like to do. But this is a model, and it's a model that works. So if are just interested in kind of replicating what hopefully looks like success here, you're going to hold out for the scepter and use your smithing stones for your shield and maybe your spear too, right? Because there are only so many to go around. Next up, we left an Erdtree Guardian on the table by the Frenzied Flame Village, so we're going to go over there and take that out pretty quickly. We should be kind of over leveled for it. So, and as a reminder, we haven't done any grinding, any farming, right? There's so much XP in this game that it's really just not necessary to do farming. Now, if you just have to do it, I am going to show you probably next time what people consider the best farming spot in the game. And if it's something you want to do for your game, by all means. But my point is, you don't really need to do it. You'll still be comfortable taking on a lot of enemies. This over here is a huge scam. You go over there and about 30 revenants come out. I'm going to do it for laughs. Hopefully not regret it. See, and Frenzy Flamestone. So yeah, we got some, that's chaos, alright. And they're going to throw these little fireballs at you that we'll be used to from Liurnia, but I'm not sticking around for that. I just did it in case you're curious. Our sword should do a great job of this, so that's the approach we're gonna take. See, that's a big chunk. As a reminder, there's a big reach on. And that's gonna be it. So, just not a tough fight. Not a huge amount of XP either, though, so it's not like we're getting over on somebody. It's 6,900, and that includes our 20% bonus from the Scarab. So it's not like this is some kind of cheat code. We got out of it basically what we put in. Next up, you probably remember at the Albanic village, Nephili was very upset seeing all those bodies killed. So we want to check in on her real quick. She's over at the round table hold. We're going to get jumped here. It's okay. We're going to power up the sword. The main reason I don't go to the Albaniac village sooner is because once we get that medallion, that enemy invades, and it's totally beatable. But since the goal here again is to give you guys kind of a pleasant, not exasperating experience, I wanted to wait until we could kind of steamroll that invader and not get annoyed by it. Nephili's down here.
You. Please, leave me be. It's pathetic, I know, but I need to think. You. Please.
So she doesn't have a lot to say. She's really shaken by what she saw, and we may not realize it yet, but the implications of what she saw are especially troubling for her. We can start to maybe guess why here. The person we fought that invaded us was that character that leans against here that works for Gideon. And I hope you can hear me. The neighbor is, I don't know if they're weed eating or doing something. It's loud. So hopefully, hopefully you can tell what I'm saying. But let's look at this equipment and we'll get a clue for what that's all about. The world remains helm. Helm graced with gold human bones, worn by the unspeaking adherent of Sir Gideon the All-Knowing. Slowly replenishes HP when HP is reduced. It is said that the bones belong to an ancient lord, the soulless king, the lord of the lost and desperate, who was known as Insha. So we killed Insha, and I think the implication here, since Insha, ambushed us once we got that medallion half, is that Insha killed all the people in the village looking for that medallion. And Insha, of course, works for Gideon.
Journey to the capital, Lendel, to the east of the Altus Plateau, at the foot of the Erd Tree. The Two Fingers will deny your passage no longer. You may be our best hope. Find your way to the Elden Ring.
So we can ask about Insha.
Oh, my apologies for that nasty business. Insha got rather ahead of himself, it seems. As his master, I'd like to express my regret. But now, Insha is slain and gone. Finished. Forevermore.
That's not really good enough for me. I don't know about y'all. We also ask about Nephili's despair.
You've already heard. Indeed. It seemed the whelp harbored suspicions, so I had no further use for her. Honestly, what's a man to do? A determined plebeian is more wicked than an omen horn, quite frankly. I suspect that's just what the Queen wants. A dose of ambition to incite the tarnished.
So this guy is basically just a trash person, He had somebody kill everybody in a village to get something. That same person tried to kill us. His adopted daughter got upset, so he just totally wrote her off. Screw that guy, right? I mean, Gideon is just... And he's rude. He acts like he knows everything. Where's his shard? Who's he taking out? He's just... I don't know. I don't want to get on a weird rant, but he's garbage. He's absolute garbage. We're now going to do something that, is not necessarily intuitive, but is, in fact, related. And that's go to a region called the Four Belfries. It's on top of a mountain. And there are, in fact, 4 belfries, which we'll be able to see here in a minute. And just as a reminder, we're leaving the Revenger Shack, which is just north of the Erd Tree, here on the west side of the lake, okay? Since it's not risking anything, we'll go ahead and stop at this Everjail. As a reminder, there's always a stake of Marika at these jails, and your runes respawn outside the jail, so you're never really risking anything to come in here. Drink our little physic, get juiced up. And we're just, you know what we do. And that's that. And you may feel like Great Blade Phalanx, this is better than the Glint Blade because it's a Great Blade, right? So more damage, more stun, a good spell. It's hard to say whether this is better or the you know, what is it called? Celavus. He has another one too that isn't great blades, but it's more blades, like a lot more blades. We'll take a look at that eventually. Um, you may think it's worthwhile to take out these bats. Um, I think we can get a 6 rune from the singer. Something interesting about the singing bat. Um, I believe that's in Latin, and you can find the translation online, um, which is kind of cool. Some good lore there. Um, if you find yourself interested by that kind of thing, I would definitely give it a Google. Alright. Wait for this poison to go away. There's our rune 6. Alright. You can see the towers up there on top of the mountain. That's where we're going. There is a big, like, ghost headless troll up here. And there's no doubt we can kill it. Though it's definitely more resilient than the average troll. And my personal preference is just getting where we're going. So you can do what you want, but I'm gonna ignore him and ride by. Because he's a ghost, kind of like Ludel the Headless, he can reappear. And often does. Right around, yeah, see? Just keep going. And the deal with these belfries is that 3 of them contain these special gates that can only be activated by an imbued stone sword key. And we found one of those in Sela, Town of Sorcery, you may remember. And we're going to get another one right here. Since there are 3 gates, that means there's only one we can't open at the moment. The one we are going to open immediately is this one right here. Precipice of Anticipation. That place will collapse when you go try to get the butterflies and you'll die, which I guess is funny, but you know, I'm not doing it. If this geography looks familiar, that's because it is. We've been nearby. Oh, I don't have a flask. How funny. Okay, that's fine. We weren't going to do charge attacks on this guy anyway. So we're going to do a little boss fight here, and we can't summon our friend. Hey, it's that guy. Fortunately, our you know, that's just and these are the things that you would get if you beat it at the very beginning. The Ornamental Straight Sword and the Golden Beast Crest Shield. Golden Beast Crest Shield is, I think it's the lightest in terms of strength requirement. Great Shield that has 100% physical block. I'm not sure about that, but it is a popular shield because it has a relatively low strength requirement. It's still way too high for us. It's 24 and we're at 16, so we won't be using that shield at the moment. You know, if we did New Game Plus, we would get into Great Shield territory, I'm pretty sure, since we could increase our greatsword damage by raising strength. There's really no reason not to graduate to better shield. Stormhawk King. Believe it or not, that is a key item, not a summoning ash. Ashes of a hawk revered by all others as sovereign back in the days when Stormveil's wind still raged like no other. This ancient monarch is proud, however, refusing to answer anyone's summons. How mysterious. There is, however, a Stormhawk for us, Stormhawk Dean. That Stormhawk can be useful. It's kind of a good dodge tank against human-sized enemies because they have a hard time, just like we do, swatting at things over our heads. Just can be very elusive. But larger enemies that have big kind of hit zones, the Hawk's a little fragile for them. So it's kind of a situational Spirit of Ash. I never really invested in it, but you can see it online watching playthroughs and stuff. A lot of people have used it. So we're done here. There is a talisman we could also get at the 4 Belfries, but I don't think it's worth the trouble at the moment. Maybe we'll come back. Next up is, remember Kenneth Height here at the Mistwood outskirts. We need to exhaust his dialogue options. He's still at the top of this thing right here. So we'll just trot on over.
Right then, time for me to head to the fort. I've much to do. First, I'll have to re-establish communication with the demi-humans. What's that look? You don't believe me? Well, under the Erd Tree, commingling with the demi-humans is made possible. Even the vulgar shall not be left behind under the rule of true order. Which is why I, Kenneth Height, next in line as the rightful ruler of Limgrave, have sworn to uphold it. Just you watch, my friend. Just you watch. Ah, yes. I've been meaning to ask, would you like to enter my service? I see bright things in your future, stout warrior. Enter into my service and learn the workings of the Erd Tree's true order. And who knows, perhaps sometime down the line, the grace of gold will return to those tarnished eyes of yours. What say you? A fine accord, is it not?
Now, we don't care anything about order or anything like that, but we want to follow this story, so we're going to pledge service.
Very well indeed. I knew I saw something in you. I shall await you at my fort. We shall hold the ceremony for your knighting there, I think. I see great things ahead of us. We are truly by the Erd Tree blessed.
Alright, well thanks, Kenneth. We'll just meet him back at the ranch, which, as a reminder, is just down here, south of Shofra Well. You'll notice we can summon our friend here, which doesn't bode well. As So we can see the demi-humans are back. There's really no reason to get too concerned about these enemies at this late date. I'm not even using lock on. I think that's probably everybody. String.
You, is it? I suppose you must have seen it by now, yes. The sorry state of my foot. Oh, indeed, it is a foul fate for a land to be without a ruler. One must be found, with haste, and not that awful Godric, but a true and stalwart lord of the proper lineage to take the reins of Limgrave. I'm sorry to have lifted your hopes, but I haven't the authority to raise you to knighthood as things stand. The great Kenneth Height issues his sincerest apology. But now, I must begin my search post-haste for a true and stalwart lord of the proper lineage to take the reins of Limgrave. I must begin for a true...
So, interestingly, you know, that hawk we gave our friend is supposed to be the original ruler of Stormvale. So there's more to come so far as that goes, and I've never completed that quest, so I'm very curious to see it through myself. But I don't think we can do anything else with it now. So, you know, it's just another cleanup item. The next thing we want to do is something down here, and we're gonna start at our buddy the merchant. One place on the Weeping Peninsula we've never been is up there. See how this is a little alcove in here? We've just never been in there, and this looks like a buildings, right? So let's go over there. There are a lot of rats lurking here, just to be aware. There's one more. You can, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it in my headphones. And I'm just doing the old, you know, target lock. I think y'all know how much I hate fighting rats. Note that they're frenzied rats. You can see they've got the yellow eyes. So there's a little guy that will throw some frenzied flame at you if you let him. These guys are all frenzied also. So you don't really want to take any chances. They'll process that status effect on you. We've already seen how dangerous that can be. So don't take any chances. Just shut these all down. You can see we can summon. There are, I think, a decent number of rats in the woods back here. None of that's really important for what we're here to do, though. Really, all we're here to do is to get the sacred tear out of this church. So, we get the rats that are close by. I'm going to try to do my big bomb. They must have been too far away. I didn't hit them. That's okay. There's the frame of Frenzy, which is the high damage dealer with a pretty low faith requirement. You'll also see a lot of players using it online for that reason. But we're done here. We got what we came to do. The next thing I want to do is back this way again. We missed a seed. Just as a reminder, we're at the rampart here, going down the hill. And staying to the right. And it's a seed. There's another seed we're going to be able to get to. We're in pretty good shape. You know, there's one. Next up, remember the Stormhill Shack where we met Rodrika? I told you long ago that we basically had to decide between getting her hood and getting a seed. But you can actually get both. It's just that instead of her handing us the seed, which is what happens when we clear the castle first, it's here. So we just come here and get it. Piece of cake. It's late day, gonna wait till morning as always. Here's our tier. We're up to +8 on our flasks. Next up, looking at my list, we're gonna talk to Hyatt one last time, and then I'll maybe have some suggestions about that for your own playthrough. And this time I will remember to activate the Sign of Grace, okay? But we haven't taken her the fingerprint grape yet, so that's what's going to happen right now. And this should be the last time we come this way. Okay, we're back. First things first. Touch Grace. Okay. Never again. Now we can give her
There
the
are
fingerprint
special
grape.
grapes which only grow on those who've been clasped by the brute fingers. Please, could you donate a fingerprint grape to me? Without one, I don't know. I feel like I might go mad. Oh. Oh. A fingerprint grape. Tried and true. What a wondrous thing. A fingerprint grape. Oh, how sweet. Yet, how it burns. Thank you. I've composed myself again. May the blessing of the fingers be upon you.
Blessing of the fingers. Now the two fingers, mind you. The fingers.
From the bottom of my I'm sure I'll be a finger maiden.
And that's all she will say for now. Now, if you do decide to pursue the Frenzied Flame ending, well, it's much better if you do all the stuff with her. But you don't have to. It's all purely optional. But, you know, I'm showing you stuff. I think that's worth doing. Keep it in your pocket if you want to do Frenzied Flame. Because it doesn't really make sense unless you have her story, I don't think. Just my 5 cents. Anyhow, that's the Frenzied Flame setup. I'm looking at our list. Okay, I think we're ready to go back to the Atlas Plateau. So let's get there. Now, job one, of course, is going to be getting a map, right? If you get too far out in the road here, the golem with the bow might start shooting at you, so I like to stay left. And we're just following the road right now. It's gonna fork. One leg of it is going to go up the hill. These things on horses are pretty tough. I mean, luckily our sword makes pretty short work of them, but you just need to be mindful. Is he gonna come try to fight us? If he wants to, that's fine. As always, we learn this with the Nox cities. Take out the horse, then stab him on the ground. That's the whole thing. Here's another side of Grace. We don't really need to rest at the moment, so we're just going to keep going up the hill. Another seed. If we find one more, we can get another flask. So we're doing really well with flasks. Here's our map. Unfortunately, this is all still blank. It's going to take us a while to fill that in. These are the stairs to the city outskirts. I'm just going to take out some stuff along the way. That church over there, we'll be visiting eventually. That's where we're next going to run into Yuna, the Bloody Finger Hunter. Remember him? Stopped for a pretty weird conversation with the finger reader.
You, please, I can read them. Your fingers, please, your fingers. Oh, bless you. To the east, ruins of gold. To the west, the serpent's sacrilege. Wherever the path leads, so shall you follow. Wherever the path leads, only more sorrow. 'Tis a curse. A curse. The curse of Queen Marika.
Yeah. So this world is just really messed up. Here's a vendor, and we're going to make an exciting purchase here.
Are you here as a customer?
Can you guess what it is? So we do have like crafting. We can make a lightning pot, which is kind of a cool idea. I'm pretty sure it scales with faith, unfortunately, but it is a way to do lightning damage. And who knows, maybe we'll buy that someday. But no, we are here for the Scorpion Kite Shield. Now, you don't have to buy this shield.
I must apologize. I'm afraid of the...
Elden Ring has a ton of medium shields that have 100% physical block. We actually already have one. It's the one we started with, the heater shield. There are several in the game, and their differences are not mechanical. They're purely aesthetic. So let's go ahead and rest. But for me, the best of the medium 100% physical block shields is in fact the Scorpion shield. Now, why would I buy that? Out of the box, the parry of the Scorpion Kite Shield is inferior to the buckler parry. The guard boost at 52, you know, we've got a 60 guard boost on our brass shield, and it's only going to go higher. Why would I want this shield? Well, as it turns out, there are two ways to maximize the parry frames of a shield above and beyond the buckler parry, and they are both done with Ashes of War. And so we need to put an Ash of War on our Scorpion shield that will have the maximum possible number of active parry frames on it. And that, look at all these ball bearings we need to offer up. And that's everything. So for one thing, you can see we have all these ghost glove warts up to 6. Got 1 and 2 somber, 1 to add on to our 1 and 2 smithing. But what we want is this carrion retaliation. Now, carrion retaliation, if you can parry spells with it, and they'll turn into glint blade phalanxes that will go back at your enemy. Now, that's pretty neat. that requires FP. But you can also just use it to parry regular attacks, and that requires no FP. So this shield will be a greatly superior shield for parrying. Note we can pick magic or cold or standard. It defaults to magic because that's what carrying retaliation is. But if you look, that drops our physical block to 95, and the magic block is only 51. We have a much better magic blocking shield. So we're going to leave this as standard because we're just in this for the parries, right? We don't, I mean, magic block on the carry and knight shield is 71. So we don't need this to be a magic shield. So there we go. We have a very fancy parrying shield. Now, I'm not good at parrying. I'll show it to you real quick, but I'm bad at this. We'll go back to the church near the beginning area. And basically, if you time it right, you knock the enemy's attack to the side and make them vulnerable to a critical hit. I might fail a bit, but it's okay. Now that, see that? And then you can do this. So this is very effective at to defeating a lot of enemies. And if you have a good sense of timing or are good at kind of arcade style games, this is something you might want to spend some time on. It will definitely make a lot of enemies trivial. I'm waiting for one that actually I can't parry right, just so you can see it doesn't. Sometimes it really goes wrong. Yeah, see. So it takes practice. You know, different enemies have different attack patterns. Some things are easier to parry than others. Yeah, that's our parry shield. And note that it doesn't use FP unless you're actually blocking magic. So, you know, it's not expensive to use. It's kind of fun to do. I mean, it's very satisfying when it works. So that's enough of that. You get the idea. Will I ever really do it this playthrough? I don't know, but it's a tool that's there for you. And again, if you get the knack for it, it's going to make certain difficult fights really easy for you. So definitely worth a try to see if you can get the hang of it. Okay, that's done. Next up, go back to Atlas and do some tunnels. The one I want to do first is this one right here. It's in a pretty dangerous location, and you'll see why. Actually, I don't want to do this yet because I don't want to go in there with this many runes. So let's go over here instead. We'll take the little transporter. And we can kill some mobs and get some loot. So basically, it's taking us to the other side of this huge bridge that used to go over this forest valley. So So now we're over here. There are lots of items of interest here. These battle mages are some of the worst enemies in the game. I mean, I've said before that I think they're basically like Crucible Knights, only wizards. So, you know, we're gonna try to cheese this one a bit and see how it goes. Fortunately, he does a bit of slow walking. Okay, yeah, it looks like we're gonna get him. Fortunately, he just got in a bad attack pattern, so he didn't really have it. But you get his whole outfit, which you may enjoy from a fashion Souls perspective. There's a lot of rats over here. Like a lot of rats, the XP rewards aren't really impressive, but you know, that's okay. This is all optional. I mean, you don't have to come over here and do any of this stuff if you don't want to. Let's see if we can do our big bomb. Yeah, nice. And for that we get the giant rat ashes. So several giant rats. You know, and that's probably good. It's probably a big upgrade from the wolves. Probably do a lot of kind of aggro stun locking. You know, a lot of this stuff is like probably fun to mess with. I've said this before, but to me, one unfortunate thing about this game, which I love, it's one of my favorite games ever, is how rune constrained and resource constrained a lot of these ashes are. So while it's great there's a bunch of them, the reality is you can't really use many of them because they're not useful at level 1. You have to invest in them for them to help you with anything. And so while it seems like there's a lot of possibilities for you, without a pretty big commitment, you in actuality can't really use many at all. These guys will run at you and explode. They're very susceptible to our burst, but if they get close to you, you need to start rolling away, because now this is fun. We'll look at it in just a second. I want to make sure we're clear here. If we wanted to switch to the blue hood, we could. The only difference there is the red hood boosts vigor by 1, and the blue hood boosts mind by 1. chances are, if you're like me, you'll really just choose based on the color. You know, that's a valid way to make decisions like this. So we're just about to level up, right? I don't think there's anything interesting down there. Our business lies up in any case. This is a very unnerving area. The dancing festival women. Now it's up to you whether you want to use magic or the sword. There's some pretty big crowds that you're going to end up running away from anyway. Like this. And the comet's good for stuff like that because it goes through. So it's much better at crowds. And as fun as it would be to fire a big artillery thing, it has such a long cast time that you know, it takes a lot of confidence to pause and throw one of those when you're being charged like that. The only reason I'm being cautious here is there's a couple of places where these enemies are just kind of laying low and they're not really doing anything. And they blend in, you know, because they're kind of dirty clothes. This is definitely an area where you don't want to get too you don't want to get ahead of yourself and just start running into things, because it'll punish you. You'll get punished for that. Here's some dogs. And really, I don't think there's anything valuable here. The main reason I'm coming here and killing this stuff is because I don't want those dogs to wander out and attack me, you know. So just trying to head that off. We'll try. And I mean, they're hitting hard, you know. I mean, we're slapping them once with the sword, and it's not doing them in. I mean, we'd probably, if we had our buff up, it'd probably, you know, be more effective. But still, you know, these enemies are no joke. Once again, we're kind of peeking around corners here. Just not wanting to get surprised by something. This is another enemy. It looks like there's something around the corner there, but there isn't. Oh. How about that? Lightning grease. There's nothing on that roof, but we could get on it if we wanted to. We're getting close to the top now. Alright, now one thing to point out is this stake of Marika, which means probably got some action coming up. So I still haven't rested, so I can't pop my thing. Yeah, see that? There's an enemy. He's like the skinny version of the Godskin noble we fought long ago. Wow, that hurt. So you can see he's pretty resilient. But he didn't make it. He's also susceptible. We get his little sticker and Scouring Black Flame. He's also susceptible to sleep, but he's so much better at dodging than his his big brother is. I don't know what the noble is. Let's level up. Vigor is 35, and we'll probably leave it at 35 and try to get our intelligence up to 45 before we look at it again. Now I think Millicent can appear here after we rest. Maybe. I may need to talk to her somewhere else first. Yeah, it looks like I haven't set her up to come here yet. It's okay. There's no real reason to come down here. but for completeness sake, we'll explore the whole area. I was hoping one of these women would drop her kind of flower hood. It's not a bad look. All right, well let's scoot on out of here. Awkwardly, we are sitting like 9,000 shy of leveling up. I don't really know that I want to use 9,000 in runes. That seems like a lot. We'll go down to this village, see if there's anything down there. That's a little different because these aren't laughing and jumping around. But they are waiting to ambush. Let's see what we can get. Festive garb. Poison grease. No flower hood though. We can go further down. Things get pretty dangerous down here, honestly. There's called these enemies called worm faces that like the basilisks, put off this cloud of stuff that is kind of builds up and then it's instant death. Fortunately, we get another seed. They make pretty distinctive noises. And unfortunately, there's some seeds by that tree that we want eventually. But there's like several of those enemies in that ruin there. So, well, definitely that's a good place to go with zero runes, right? You want to be in a very low risk situation. So what we can do instead is come down here. And here's another side of grace. And just to keep everybody on track, you know, we've just we went down into that little other village and took this fork, and oh my god, I need a rest. I want to use my flask. I need a rest. We can add a charge. Isn't that great? Let's keep it at 8 and 4, I think. Although we're almost to a point where we could give ourselves another healing flask. Let's just try that. We're using our sword a lot. Wait till morning. And I thought I wasn't going to do this till later, but maybe I should do it now. These enemies aren't the smartest. The pumpkin head, as you might guess, is the most dangerous. By far. I think we can kill him with a charged attack. Let's see. Yep. Just making sure I'm picking up everything. At this stage, this kind of thing just isn't a big deal for us. And just to restate again, you know, we didn't do any grinding or farming to do this. And because of the way level scaling works, we're not really ahead in levels anymore. We're about where anyone else would be playing this amount of content. So, you know, that stuff we did with the dragon in the beginning was just to make it easier for us to get used to the game. It hasn't led to any kind of lasting advantage. So now we just need to kill these. Well, it's rather inconvenient, but I guess we need to take care of these guys first. Let's re-up. You don't want to same thing here. And of course now we overshot. We've got 41,000 runes. But that's okay. It's really just fine. The Great Stars is not really for us. I mean, if you just want a huge club that does bleed damage, well, it fits the bill. Did we go talk to Varre? I feel like maybe we didn't. We definitely need to do that before we do this. I'm sorry we keep going back here. This game's so big though. There's just so much to do, right? So much to keep track of. Alright, so really quick, if I haven't gone back to him already, y'all remember Varre's the guy at the very beginning. Varre, he was standing outside when we first left the cave at the very, very beginning of the game, and he kind of had a weird gloating tone and was telling us that we should go to the castle. Well, this is where he goes after you clear the castle.
found a great room and had your audience with the two fingers at the round table home. What was your impression?
They didn't seem right.
Aha, your intuition serves you well. My doubts had been piling up, you see. The words of the two fingers cannot be trusted. Truly, naught but rambling, senile delusions. I believe that when the Elden Ring was shattered, the two fingers were corrupted, their guidance skewed. Even worse, the fingers harbor no love for our kind. That's the part that irks the most. Oh, I have a gift for you. Something fit only for the wise.
Festering bloody finger, 5 of them.
A means for circumventing the draw of the two fingers. Give it a try, won't you? And if it please you, may we meet again. I've high hopes for you, my lambkin.
Lambkin. What a creepy
Be sure
dude.
to try that finger I gave you. There's no reason to dither. The tarnished was spurned by grace, forsaken by the two fingers. And now they ask you to mend their crumbling world? Your loyalties are misplaced with them.
I mean, he's right on the facts. That is how things really are. I'm not sure that his worldview is the most accurate, but he's not wrong about the state of the world or the gods or anything like that, as far as I can tell. Anyway, what he wants you to do is use those fingers to invade the games of other players in multiplayer and fight them. And if you do that, he'll consider you part of his society and, you know, initiate you. But this isn't an online playthrough, as you've probably all noticed by now. I haven't activated a single online thing, and that's not going to change. There is a workaround. We don't have to go online to meet his requirements. Let's go ahead and level up, get to 40. Good. I think several patches ago they added an offline invasion that we could do, which is where we're going now, and it may not work out. Honestly, it's a pretty hard fight. He's just a big guy with that spiky club, the 2 stars or whatever, and he doesn't really flinch. He does a lot of beast incantations, so he's got range, he's got bleed, he's got, he's got a lot going for him. And we got 2 ways we can go about this. I honestly prefer trying the Night Comet. But to do it, we just activate this. There are a lot of these dogs around. So I'm gonna top off my stuff. I'm gonna put this on Night Comet. And we may have to try a little. Main thing is I usually just, instead of kind of rolling and rolling, I'll actually run away. We're gonna get him. It's impressive that he's doing all this dodging. because you're not supposed to be able to dodge Night Comet. But see what I mean? You know, run from one border to the other. Just keep that guy off your back. If he gets up close, it's kind of bad. Now we can go right back to Varre. It would be nice if he had a side of grace where he is. It's pretty understandable why he doesn't, given the things he said. But it does get old writing back and forth to him.
Oh, Lampkin, so pleased you're here. I'm glad that you're enjoying my gift. I knew it from the very start. You have a taste for noble blood. I wish to anoint you a proper inductee. A knight to serve Luminary Moog, the Lord of Blood, and establish a new dynasty. Luminary Moog has strength, vision, and of course, love. So, what do you say, my lambkin?
We're gonna roll with it.
Yes. Who would have it any other way? Now, take this for your final trial. Soak the cloth with a maiden's blood. Normally, this ritual would involve killing one's own maiden and recanting the wisdom of the two fingers. But since you are maidenless, the blood of anyone's maiden will do.
Okay, that's a little macabre, but we actually, in fact, have a source of maiden's blood we can get to in the Church of Inhibition, way past the Frenzied Flame Village. There she is. We can dye the cloth, and then for the last time, this is the last time, I promise, we ride to see Varre and show him that we've completed his quest.
You've completed your final trial, and with this, you are a formal inductee, a knight who will assist Luminary Moog, the Lord of Blood, in the establishment of a new dynasty. Now, give me your finger. This noble blood will be an immutable badge of honor once it settles inside of you.
And yes, we give him the finger.
Oh, good heavens. Clench your teeth or something. Never forget that feeling of agony for it is what binds you to Luminary Moog, to all of us. You have the sweetest scream, my lambkin.
That's your finger he hands you. I guess since the Tarnished don't die, they also don't permanently lose digits or limbs, I'm guessing. Anyway, what he gives us, oh, I need to talk to him again. I'm glad I didn't leave.
Oh, another thing. You should have this.
The Pure Blood Knight's Medal.
A medal granted by the new Mogwin dynasty, with the power to grant audience with Luminary Moog. I've gone out of my way to provide one to you, but you mustn't use it just yet. The meeting must wait until the Mogwin dynasty commences. Luminary Moog yet slumbers beside the divinity. We must endure a little longer.
So, he says not to use it, but, I mean, let's be real. We're going to use that right now. Audience with Moog will be granted one day. Proof that one is a glorious knight of the new dynasty of Mogwin that the Lord of Blood will inaugurate. Used to be granted audience with Moog. Only it is not yet time. For Moog yet slumbers beside the divinity. Be patient. The new dynasty is nigh. We're going now, though. Now note that we aren't really in a position to actually confront Moog at the moment. That will come later. This is the last underground realm that will be revealed. See here, we've already been Shofra and all that, and this is the new area, the Mogwin dynasty. We're looking for a place where we can activate grace. There we go. Now, it's too involved, I think, to get the plus 10 Somber Stone is up at the top, and we will go there next episode. I don't think there's really time to go through all of that right now, so all I'm going to do now is go to the other end of the area and hopefully not die. It's kind of dangerous. These little red guys you see can all summon giant skeletons that shoot lasers like the kind we've seen in the past. So we're not going to stop. We're just going to ride. This looks like it could be rot, but it's not. It's like blood. We'll explore all that in detail next time. As the last thing, this time I'm going to show y'all, at long last, the two big rune farming spots in the game. I think everybody agrees these are the best. And I've said and continue to maintain that you don't need to farm to do well in this game. But I feel like, yeah, I do need to at least show you this. So first one involves a bow. And see this guy here? If you can hit him with an arrow, he will often run off the ledge there. And you will get 13,000 runes for that if you're wearing the gold thing. You can use a foot, which stacks on top of the thing. The main thing is don't fast travel. When you're using the foot, if you fast travel, it'll cancel it. So you need to walk back, rest, and then do it again. Like I said, we're not farming here, so I'm not going to do that again and again. But that's how you do it. The other way, if you have a good AoE thing, you can kill everybody here. The problem is for us right now is we really need to upgrade that weapon again, and then we can pretty comfortably kill everything here. Right now it's not as easy. Once these red guys get going, yeah, see that? Anyway, our weapon isn't really powerful enough to do this. Now, ideally, you've got some great AoE damage you can do to kind of mop up the whole thing at once. There's one of the more popular things you can see is somebody with this kind of glowing golden sword that'll do this special move, and it'll send a wave down the hill and kill everything all at once. And it'll have, the videos have a thing like 1,000,000 runes in 5 seconds. What I mean? It is not that, but it's something very kind of exclamation point. Click me, click me, click me. What they don't tell you is that weapon is that they're showing you is from a remembrance you use from the last boss of the whole game. So whoever's doing that is in New Game Plus, or they're in post game. That's not actually a way you can actually farm anything. But anyway, that's it. I'm not gonna do any more of that. Just that's how you do it. If you do want to clear this area, I would come back with maybe a little more magic and a last upgrade on your sword, or otherwise it's going to be pretty challenging for you. You're going to be having to hit these things multiple times, and it's going to go slow. It's going to be dangerous. And you'll probably just feel annoyed. So come back later. The bow thing you can do right now if you want. I mean, that's very lucrative. And as far as the feet go, using a foot goes, you're right here, so it's easy to walk back and rest. But that's just not part of this playthrough. So I feel like I should tell you about it, but I won't be doing it. But that is a good place for us to stop. What I would like to do now, or next episode, is go back here, go up to the top here, and get the weapon upgrade. And we'll probably just save the rest of this area for much later. We'll come back once we're able to kill the boss, which we're not able to do right now. So when we're ready to clear the whole area out, we'll return. All we really need right now is that final upgrade for our sword, so we can deal out, more damage. I said at the beginning we're going to be leaning heavily into the sword to carry us until we can start using the Regal Scepter, and that's true. So we need to make sure we're doing as much damage as we can. But that's it for now, okay? Hopefully you got something out of this. This should be the last bit of cleanup from Liurnia, I hope. And we should be able to spend all of next time in the Atlas Plateau, and maybe start thinking about moving into the outskirts. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this brief sidetrack to this very gross, bloody area, and we'll see you back at the plateau tomorrow.